What's going on, YouTube? This is Ed over here at Echo 24 Tactical. So yesterday I got my book in prepared, written by GLOVER. It's been out for a little bit of time now. Apparently it was a bestseller and everything else. I completely missed all of that. I try to pay attention to Mike's content and some other content out there, and I watched a recent video of him and he just happened to briefly mention this and gave a description on it and how well it did and everything. I was like, well shit, I missed that, so let me go ahead and order that. So I went ahead and ordered it. The book's called Prepared. Came in yesterday. It just rained literally all day long. I sell boats and yachts for a living, so it was a little quieter than usual today. So I was able to get in some more reading. So between last night and today, I was able to finish this book. This book, Prepared, if you are a like-minded individual that is geared towards having a prepared mindset, being very aware of your surroundings, your situations, being prepared for natural disasters, any looming danger that may occur. It's not if it will happen, it's more so when it will happen. And, you know, we all have the mindset of, you know, we're better off having the capabilities to take care of ourselves in any means possible and it not happening than not doing anything about it, and then when shit hits the fan, you can't do anything about it. So it wasn't boring in the aspect of this book is basically a line item of how I live my life. Mike has experienced different life experiences than I have, but they've all intertwined to, we all do things the same way to guarantee, or at least do the best that we can to guarantee survival in this life. And it didn't become boring because everything he would talk about, he would build scenarios, natural disasters, school shootings, active shooters. It became a history lesson of modern day occurrences, but it also went into greater detail about these different occurrences that took place. So like I knew about some of these, but I didn't know the extent of how many passed away, how many were affected, who survived, stuff like that. So it was cool to get a nice little idea and an in-depth summary of every incident that occurred and how it correlated with how this book was written. There was also quite a few times where I felt my stress levels go up reading this. So he was flat out honest and truthful about different scenarios, about what he encountered. And I think any human being that would read this would have some sort of stressful relation to what is written in here. So you do stay on your feet. If you don't know let me rephrase that. If you don't know anything about having a prepared mindset, and that's where you want to be, he puts things in perspective to help you get there, or build a grounding foundation with no shit situations on how you can apply this to your life to make the change now. So he goes here and explains different scenarios, but whether you're 40, whether you're 50, you're 20, maybe you're just a teenager and you want to make sure you do everything properly to make sure you're never in a bad situation unprepared. He goes into depth explaining to you how you can get your mind there. And he did a really good job doing that. There was one sentence in here, not really a sentence, but he wanted you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. And there was a scenario he created where he said, okay, so we all think we pay attention in life, but you know, we got a lot of distractions in our life. Our cell phones are to and from daily pace to work and everything. And could you write down everything you see from the time you leave your house to the time you get to work, whether you're driving or you're walking or whatever scenario? And he did go into like several topics of a lot of people don't even know what's going on around them. They don't know the landscape. They don't know the frequent flyers that they may pass going to work, like, oh, I've seen that car like 20 times in the past 2 years, you know, or different stuff like that, and how a lot of people that don't have this mindset, they have a handful of items that they have on that list. I'm thinking to myself, well, Jesus fucking Christ. You want me to make a list? I can literally tell you the 10 miles it takes me to get to work. I could count on my hand on every road, on every house that's on that road, how that house looks, which one I feel people do not live at, or which ones that are well maintained, what trees, where the potholes are, where the lines are crooked in the road, where I see people out on the bus stop every day, where I stop to get my coffee. And the best thing about that is I take numerous routes to and from work every day, so I'm not taking the same route all the time because I don't want to create a habit or a pattern. But I'm constantly looking at everything to where I could literally write a book about what I see going to and from work. And he puts all this in perspective for you so you can physically gauge a dynamic mindset of how to prepare yourself and surviving any worst case scenario. And that stuff made me chuckle a little bit because I'm like, man, this dude thinks just like I do. But I knew that going into this because a lot of us like-minded individuals, we all think the same way. There were a handful of things that I did take out of this. I don't want to give the entire book away, but there was things about handheld radios that I learned. There was a couple other things. I had my notes over there, but I read every book expecting to take something away from it, and I have taken certain things and certain aspects out of this book, and different mindsets and ideas. But theoretically, it's the same like-minded mindset. And if you want to get into a prepared mindset and literally get like the basics, but also get a rudimentary dimension of what it's like to truly succeed as a prepared individual and going into like the rabbit hole of this stuff, this book would be very crucial for you to read. All right. So I hope I didn't bore you too much. I hope you got a broad understanding of what I gathered from this book. And I feel all of you could benefit reading from it. And there's a lot of good information in there, especially if you want to be more cognitively aware of your surroundings. This book is for you. All right. So take care of yourself. Have a good night. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.